His Excellency Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu has debunked a statement allegedly credited to him as having granted an interview where he referred to the North as an unproductive population and claimed that the southern states are ready to break away from Nigeria if the region is not given the presidency in 2023. Shaibu, in a statement released by his Chief of Staff, Honorable Jimoh Ajigba, condemned the purported statement and said it was a handwork of his enemies. According to him, I am shocked over a misleading and completely false post in circulation all over the uncensored social media alleging that I granted an interview where I referred to the North as an unproductive population and claimed that the southern states are ready to break away from Nigeria if the region is not given the presidency in 2023. We are shocked beyond belief that someone with a deranged and retarded mentality could contrive such a monstrous and totally fabricated interview from the very pit of hell and proceeded to deliberately post this wicked and devilish piece of information on social media with the full knowledge of the dangerous potentials of mayhem which such provocative comments can unleash on an unsuspecting populace. We shudder in realizations of the fact that this falsehood is not only deviously intended to deepen and exacerbate the conflicts and challenges of insecurity already manifesting across the nation, but to equally promote instability, distrust, and suspicions among Nigerians in the desire of the sponsors of this evil agenda to continue their nefarious strategy of perpetuating discord, violence, and restiveness as the main instrument of attracting chief political points. Let us state categorically and clear it on record unequivocally that Edo State Deputy Governor, His Excellency Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu, did not at any point in time grant any interview as described in the post currently in circulation in the social media where he made a comment which the authors of the post credited to him. The only interview granted by the Edo State Deputy Governor in connection with the Southern Governors Meeting held in Lagos State on July 5, 2021, was to Channels Television and the popular program Politics Today anchored by Mr. Seun Okinbaloye. The interview titled 2023 Elections, Southern Governor's Position Reflects Our People's Wish, says Shaibu, can be accessed on YouTube. An excerpt from the interview read thus: Don't forget that the president is not going to be a president for only the southern parts of the Nigeria, but the president of the whole Nigeria. So even if we demand that for fairness and equity, it should come to the south, we must also put into consideration that the northern part of the country too should be part of this arrangement of zoning disposition to the south. Again, writing on his verified social media handles, specifically his Facebook handle, on the Southern Governors Meeting in Lagos, Comrade Philip Shaibu posted thus with supporting paragraphs. I participated in the Southern Nigerian Governors Forum meeting held in Lagos yesterday, where I represented my boss, Governor Godwin Obaseki. It was worth the time and effort as key resolutions were made at the meeting with the governors of Southern Nigeria for the overall benefit of our people, region, and the nation. We reviewed the country's security situation, the ongoing constitutional amendments, and the recent passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the 9th National Assembly. On these issues, we reached the following resolution: calls for the state police an end to selective prosecution, that all arrests and prosecutions must be made within the ambit of the law and fundamental human rights, that we must look into the establishment of state police structures to address issues of insecurity across the nation, that Wednesday, 1st September 2021 shall be set aside for the promulgation of the anti-open grazing law in all member states. The forum in union also rejected a proposed 3% allocation for host communities that was passed by the Senate and recommended the adoption for the 5% allocation that was passed by the House of Representatives, rejected a proposed removal of the electronic transmission of result clause from the ongoing amendment to the Electoral Act, and resolved that the next president of Nigeria should come from the southern part of the country in the interest of equity and fairness. As we work to consolidate our democracy, we will continue to remain united on these key issues that affect all our people. We therefore challenge those behind the dastardly publication to provide the audio or video evidence of their fabricated interview and the venue where such interaction took place, since the authors claim that their post is based on a recent interview. Let us further state without any doubt whatsoever that all these allegations against the deputy governor are arrant nonsense and a heap of rubbish, and urge serious-minded and responsible Nigerians to see them as such. There is no shred or atom of fact to substantiate the wild, reckless publication, which was obviously written with disdain, born out of frustration and desperation by those who stock in trade is to create unrest and confusion with the country, and in this instance cause disaffection between Mr. President and the Deputy Governor of Edo State. Let us also place on record here that we are aware of the identities of those responsible for this dangerously divisive publication, and while we refrain from exposing them at their junction, we wish to warn those fanning the embers of secession and promoting the spirit of conflict and division that they have picked on the wrong man in the person of Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu to further their devilish objectives. It is obvious that they are ignorant of the fact that Comrade Philip Shaibu is a true Democrat who believes firmly in the notion that democracy is rooted in compromise and not conquest, and its reward tolerance, not hatred. The Edo State Deputy Governor, having served at virtually all levels of the electoral pyramid, local government, constituency, state and national, knows only too well that those who believe in true democracy rarely wage war on one another, and that no region in Nigeria can survive all alone. Thus, deeming any region in terms of productive capacity shows the level of wickedness which mischief makers who are bent on destroying the very destiny of the nation will go to, including fabricating a dangerous, non-existent interview. It is also important to point out at this junction that there is the collective consensus among political leaders in the country, of which Comrade Philip Shaibu is recognized member, that this notion must continue to exist as one indivisible entity which can't and should not break up. This unspoken consensus has been in existence since our independence in 1960 and has guided our peace and unity till this moment. The validity of this unspoken consensus has therefore invalidated the desperation of the authors and their sponsor in their desperation to taint the excellent democratic credentials of Comrade Philip Shaibu in the dark in the eyes of the world. Unfortunately, the sponsors of this falsehood against the Edo State Deputy Governor have hit a brick wall, and no individual or group of individuals should bother to consider the lies that are currently being spun by enemies of democracy in Nigeria. Indeed, their case has been further rubbished by their stark ignorance of the fact that the Edo State Deputy Governor is a proud Nigerian, weaned and groomed in northern Nigeria, and is also an integral, productive member of the Northern Society, where he attended his secondary school education and went to higher institution, where he later rose to become president of the National Association of the Nigerian Students, NANS. The same man, Right Honorable Philip Shaibu, who had all formal education in the north, also worked in the northern Nigeria, where he started his trade union activism and was one of the foremost trade unionists fighting for the welfare of Nigerian workers across ethnic divides, and most especially northern workers, before his people called him to come home and take up the responsibility to represent them both in the State House of Assembly and later at the National Assembly. It is therefore quite preposterous to imagine that Comrade Philip Shaibu, an admirably detribalized Nigeria whose defining passion is his belief in one Nigeria and who has unshakable confidence in the human resources capacity of the North, where he spent the better part of his life that made him into the man he has become today, will grant such a spurious interview. We want to also use this medium to express an urgent need for the SSS, DSS, police, and other security agencies in the country to quickly intervene and track down those behind the said fabricated publication, in which the office, position, authority, personality, and reputation of the Deputy Governor of Edo State has been so impersonated, impugned upon, and deployed for felonious purposes. We once again disassociate His Excellency Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, from this fabricated post and publication, and warned that any media house which publishes the said false interview, either in print, media, electronic, or social media, should be ready to defend their actions and provide their source to the appropriate authorities. We also wish to caution the faceless personalities behind the false publication, with the objective of tarnishing the hard-earned reputation of the Edo State Deputy Governor, to not only desist from such actions henceforth or face legal action, but most importantly, to also keep their secessionist tendencies away from the Edo State Deputy Governor, who is a firm believer in the tide of peaceful coexistence and democracy, and will resist any attempt by the enemies of democracy by pushing back their discordant winds of secession and promotion of ethnic hatred. The Edo Deputy Governor will forever stand for the unity of the nation as a law-abiding citizen, a man of deep conviction in due process, equity and fairness, and a decent, detribalized, principled Nigeria, he concluded.